In this section, we will see how our pages are structured and how to use the different sections, rows, and modules to build our pages. The way it works is that you have blue section. Inside the blue section, you put the green row, and inside the green row, you put the gray modules. Okay, so let's start with the modules first. The modules are ready to use blocks that are doing different things. So for example, this one, we have text and we have a button here. And we have plenty of different ready to use modules that you can just add on your store. So there is a button, there is call to action, there is contact form, there is image, maps, etc, etc. There is plenty of modules. And to add a module on your page, the only thing that you have to do is to click on the little gray plus here, and then it opens the little window to insert modules, and then just choose the module that you want. Little tip, you can just search here, for example, a text, and then click on text, and it had our text just below here. And then if you want to add something else, you can just click on the module just above where you want to add. So for example, we want to add an image between our text and button here and our little text here. We just click on the module here. We have the little plus, then we can add an image. And now we have our image just between our two modules. Okay, then for every element on your page, the module in gray, the row in green, and the section in blue, when you click on them, you have the same little menu here with the same icons. Let me show you that. So we have this little icon here. For an image, we have the exact same icon. For this module here, we also have the exact same icon. Then for our green row, we have the exact same icon and one little additional icon to change the column structure if we want to change it. Okay, and then for the blue section, again, we have the exact same options. So the first icon will allow you to drag and drop the element on your page. So it's pretty simple. You just put your mouse on the icon. So it's pretty simple. You just put your mouse on the element, then you click on it, but you don't release your finger. You keep clicking on it, and then you can move the element where you want on your page. Let me show you again. We open the little menu. I click on the icon, then I go up, and then I put the module where I want, and here I release my finger. Okay, so this is the first one, and we can do the same thing with the rows and with the section too. So here I just show you how to move the modules into the same row, but we can as well move it into a different row further down our page if we want by doing just the exact same thing. And then if I just want to go back, I just open the history, and then here I can go back to what I had previously, which means the modules here on top. And then we can do that with every element of our page, whether it's a section or a row, we can do the exact same thing. Then the next option that we have, the little wheel, is the settings. Into settings, we have 3 tabs: content, design, and advanced. So in content, we will be able to define the content of our different elements. So for example, you see Vino here is actually here. We can put something else if we want. We can change the text of our button here. Okay, so this is where we will be able to change the content into the content tab. Then we have the design tab. We will be able to change a lot of things regarding the design. So we have options for the title text, for the body text, for the button. We can change the size, spacing, etc, etc. There's plenty of options here that we can just access and very quickly change things. For example, the font, or we can change the style of the text, the alignments, like everything is here. And we can change the design settings very quickly with these options. And then we have the advanced tab. So this is to go even further in terms of design, so I will cover that into the advanced video. So I am not going to save this by clicking on the cross here. And then the cool thing is that we have the exact same option in the settings for every element on our store. So for example, for the row, we have the same design, advanced, we can change the same thing, and it's at the same place all the time. In the section as well, design and advanced, everything is here and is always the same into the settings. Okay, for our image module, for example, we can set up the image and then design and then advanced. Okay, Then the next option that we have, the little double square here, is for duplicating an element. So you can just click on it and it will just duplicate your element. Up. Here we go. Then you can use the next one if you want to save your module to your library. So you can add a name first to make sure you can find this module easily. You can ignore DB Cloud. It's to save these elements to the cloud, but this is not what we want to do. We want to put it into the library. Then you can decide if you want to save these elements as global. This means that first you will be able to reuse this element anywhere on your page or anywhere on other pages of your store. And then if you update this element, it will be automatically updated everywhere that you used it. So it's pretty cool because then you can make updates and changes very quickly on your store. For example, for a form where you invite people to subscribe to your newsletter, you might want to use a global element. So then if you want to change the text or if you want to change the color or something like that, you don't need to redesign everywhere you put this newsletter sign up form. You can just update it once and it will be updated everywhere because it's a global element. Then to easily find the different elements into your library, you can create categories if you want and tags as well. This is really just to help you find the elements easier later if you have a lot. And if you want to add an element from your library, you just click on the little plus and here you have add from library here directly. So this is to add the modules from your library. Here we don't have any modules. You can do the same thing if you want with rows directly. Save them to your library and add them from your library if you want. And you can do the same thing with section 2. Save them to your library and add them from the little plus here. That's the same thing. Then the next icon is to delete something. So here we can delete this module, for example. Then the next one is just to close the little menu. Very simple. And then the three little dots give you access to even more options. And once again, it is the exact same thing for every element. We have additional settings here. We can close the menu here. We can delete the element from here and go back. And then the last thing to show you into the visual builder is the different type of section that we have. So to add a new section, you just click on the little blue plus where you want to add your section. And then you have 3 types of different section. You have the regular one, the specialty, and the full width. So the regular will allow you to put a row inside where you can decide the number of columns that you want. For example, 1 column. And here we go. We have our blue section and our green row inside. Okay, we can delete it here. Then you can also add a full width. In full width, you won't be able to add a row because it will be already full width, and you have some special module that will actually take the full width of your screen. So for example, if you put an image, it will take the full screen like that. So most of the time we use this with the full width slider modules because this way you can create sliders with text. You can just go here inside the settings and then here into image, video, and background. You can set up what you want behind and people can easily browse through your slider. So then you can display multiple things. This is most of the time what we do with the full width section option. And then the last, and then we have the specialty option. So with the specialty option, you will be able to add multiple columns of rows. So which means we will create the columns, and inside the columns, we will be able to put rows, and these rows will be able to have columns as well. So for example, we can do things like that with 1 big column on the left, and then 1 row with 1 column on the top, and then 2 columns just below that. So it's pretty cool. It's doing some more advanced design. Then we have 1 column on the left where we can put any module we want. And then on the right, we can put columns that we want. Inside these 3 columns, then we can put other modules as well. Then that's pretty much it for the overview of the Visual Builder. Most of the time, what we do is that we delete stuff that we don't need. For example, we don't need this one. Then we modify the text and the images to put our own content. So for example, for my watch website, we can say discover my watch. We can just change the information here, change the text here. Then we can modify the image as well. I open the settings, I click on image. I take my image and I have my image now, and we can do as much customization as we want. So that's it for the structure inside the Visual Builder. Now let's use it to build some pages.